I now call to order the regularly scheduled meeting of the Board of Zoning Appeals. Notice to the public of the time, date, place, and agenda of the meeting was given by publishing a legal notice in the July 31st Aiken Standard. Notice to contiguous property owners was mailed, and public notice signs posted on the properties where action by the board was requested on or before July 31st, 2026. Also, notices of the meeting were sent on or by August 21st, 2026 for posting on the city webpage and to the city clerk for posting on the municipal building notice board at least 24 hours before the meeting. Agenda sheets were mailed or emailed to interested parties. It is unlawful for any person giving testimony to this board to knowingly provide false information according to Section 22-9 of the Aiken Municipal Code. Each infraction is a separate offense with a penalty of up to 30 days in jail and/or a $1,092.50 fine. Please note that meetings are public forums in which many opinions are expressed and the business of the city must be conducted. As such, disciplined, honorable, and professional decorum is paramount. Courteous and respectful communication is required. During public hearings, all questions and statements from the public shall be directed to the chair. If you wish to speak, raise your hand and the chair will recognize you. Please approach the podium and state your name and address. In order to allow an opportunity for everyone who wishes to address the Board of Zoning Appeals, speakers should limit their comments to the subject being discussed. Each speaker will be given 5 minutes to address an issue and may only address an issue once unless questions from the board members are posed to the speaker. We will move on to the approval of minutes. There are 2 sets of minutes to approve. I'm going to do 2 separate motions for the minutes, just for clarity. To the board, you've received copies of the regular meeting minutes from May 26, 2026. Are there any corrections or additions to either set of minutes? Please note that there was a correction to the minutes, and that's why they are being represented.
May 26, 2026 regular meeting minutes be approved.
Thank you, but I have a motion to approve the minutes. Is there a second? Second by Nancy. The minutes have properly been moved and seconded. Do we have any discussion? Hearing none, those in favor of the said motion raise their right hand. Any opposed? And we have 1 abstention as board member Doherty was absent. The motion is carried. To the board, you have received copies of the regular meeting minutes from June 23rd, 2026. Are there any corrections or additions to the minutes? Hearing none, may I have a motion to approve the minutes?
I make a motion that the minutes from June 23rd, 2026 be approved.
Thank you, Nancy. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Glover. So both have been properly moved and seconded. Do we have any discussion? Hearing none, those in favor of the said motion raise their right hand. Any opposed, but you may want to abstain because you were absent. Yeah, that's okay. With 1 abstention from Bud, the motion is carried. We have some old business. Moving on to item 2 for the final orders. These have been signed, and I'll pass them down to give to the city. And we can move on to new business. Our first application, I call your attention to application 27-93001. This is a variance request from JDC Construction Management, LLC, to permit a reduced rear yard setback on property located at 514 Hayne Avenue Southwest. This is zoned residential multifamily low density, or RML, and is at TPN 105-27 2024-005 to the city. Has this been properly posted?
Yes, Madam Chair, it has.
Were there any inquiries that you wish to share with the board?
The Planning Department did receive several written comments regarding the request, all of which have been included in the application packet.
Thank you. Please proceed with your presentation.
The subject property, 514 Hayne Avenue Southwest, is approximately 0.24 acres in area, zoned residential multifamily low density RML, and currently undeveloped. The property was previously part of 150 Florence Street Southwest. To the west, that's this property here, but was subdivided in 2025 from the parent parcel. The applicant is proposing an approximate 10-foot rear yard setback to allow for the construction of a new single-family home on the lot. Pursuant to section 4.2.1 of the city's zoning ordinance, the primary structure on lots zoned RML must be set back from the rear property line 20% of the lot depth, not to exceed 50 feet. Based on the depth of the property, compliance with the zoning ordinance requires the primary structure to come no closer than 46 feet from the rear property line, thus requiring a variance. The lot is approximately 230 feet deep, with a varying width, approximately 60 feet at the rear. This portion here, about 60 feet across, down to 35 feet at the street frontage, starting from about 2/3 of the lot. So this tapers down or narrows to 35 feet. The City of Aiken zoning ordinance does not account for irregular lot width or flag lots when calculating the rear yard setback relative to depth. Information provided by the applicant about the request is contained in Exhibit A of your agenda packet. As depicted on the attached zoning map found in Exhibit B, some variation exists regarding the development of this mixed-use neighborhood. Most residential development in the immediate area is concentrated primarily to the west and south. These are typically 20th century single-family construction on lots deeper than they are wide. Typical parcel depth is between 150 feet to 160 feet, so between 80 and 90 feet, or significantly less anyway, depth than the applicant's property, while typical parcel width varies between 50 feet to upwards of 150 feet. Most parcels in the immediate vicinity are more rectangular in shape than the subject lot. I apologize, this was also submitted by the applicant. This is a site plan, but again, depicting the location of the primary structure relative to the rear yard setback here, and the narrowing of the lot here, fronting Hayne. Exhibit D in your agenda packet contains photographs of the property taken by staff depicting the existing conditions of the property. This is just our notice sign here. As you can see, the lot is currently undeveloped, and you have this narrow portion here that leads back into the wider portion in the rear. Again, this width is approximately 35 feet. Presumably, it's going to be used primarily for the drive. This is just a picture of the lot to the west. As you can see, there is an accessory structure here, I believe, but the primary structure is further to the west. So there's no primary use along this property line. This is the property line to the east. There are a number of businesses. This is all zone limited professional, but there are a number of businesses on this side of the applicant's property. Planning staff's evaluation of the request, as well as the applicant's response to the required 6 variance criteria, can be found starting at page 1 of your agenda packet. This does conclude staff's presentation. If there are any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Thank you, Max. Do we have any questions for the city from the board?
Yes, I do. Max, did you go to Exhibit C? There you go, right there.
Which, I'm sorry, which?
Oh, you're there. So I count 4 letters in our packet of support.
I believe that's correct, yeah.
Can you show me which I know the 150 Florence.
Yeah, I believe,
Show me which properties have
I believe these three in particular, I'm not familiar with the fourth one. I could double check. But the owner of the parent parcel submitted
yeah, that's
a
that
letter.
one, yeah.
Yep.
And then the 3 on Greenville there, you think in a row?
I believe so. I'm not sure if it was this individual or this one here, but I can double check that real quick.
Okay. One just said I'm an adjoining property and didn't really give it any kind of address. But
Yeah, we do notify all surrounding property owners, but yeah, the amount of detail that they
okay.
provide varies.
But no letter of objection
No.
by any resident? Okay.
Nor any of the business owners, neighboring business owners.
Max, I had a question, just as it relates to the upcoming UDO. You'd made mention in your presentation that flag lots were, and I'm sorry, I'm paraphrasing possibly incorrectly, that they weren't taken into consideration. Is that something that could be considered on the revamp for the UDO that would help future applicants? I mean, flag lots may be an anomaly for the most part.
Yeah, certainly can be part of the discussion, but yeah, typically they are not common. Usually, and in fact, there is no actual definition of flag lots in the zoning ordinance, just because of how uncommon they are. They're quite a bit more common in the county. But yeah, my understanding is a flag lot is typically quite a bit smaller than the actual minimum size of the lot itself. So this met all of our design standards. It's just, it appears as though it's a flag lot, so to speak, because it's only 35 feet wide.
Yeah.
But yeah, minimum design standards for RML are technically 35 feet wide.
It's just possibly a note for what's going on with planning currently with the UDO. It may be worth adding to the language, because as certain parcels come into the municipality from the county and people parcel them off, in this case specifically, it was pieced off of a parent property, it just might help down the road for other applications.
Yeah, absolutely.
Any further questions from the board for the city? Hearing none, the applicant or the representative may make a presentation. Please come up to the podium and state your name and address to the board.
My name is Todd Hass, and my partner, Tilden Hildebrand, and myself own 133 Greenville, the adjoiner all the way to just below the LP and just north of the site.
Thank you, Mr. Hass. You received an application package from the city. Do you wish to comment, elaborate on the package, or just respond to and from questions from the board?
Well, I'll answer any questions, but I was just going to make a little quick presentation about it. That this, if you look from the LP, that property line south was all one parcel in the 20s and 30s, and it was subdivided in 1936. And what I bring this up for is this lot is surrounded completely by all the properties of the Palmetto Inn and 4 cottages. That was the name of the property. 3 of the 4 cottages are still there. The middle one is on Greenville, and that's the owner of the lot also in question. And if I can go over.
Oh.
Hey, here you go. Well, you can point it out, just the little square next to us on the side. Right there, that little square. The reason I point this out is that was a garage. It was a 25 by 25 garage that was right on the property line. Tilden and I have owned the property since '02 and occupied it since 1996. We've been there 30 years. And behind that was that property line in the back is 60 feet. And behind that was a 20 by 50 dilapidated three-bay garage, she said, three-bay garage, and it was completely imploded. But it was probably 10 feet high, but the roof had imploded. And it was also right on the property line. And it's now, since they built the new building on Greenville, all of it's been cleaned up, and wow, it's a whole different place. And the building they built next to us, I know somebody who's driven by it, is absolutely gorgeous and kind of puts everything to shame on Greenville Street. It is very, very nice. With those buildings being gone and this new structure going to be 10 feet away, it's a win-win for Tilden and I. It really opens up our back end. The other thing I wanted to point out is on that, if you look at the aerial, there's 13 parcels, seven of them, if you look at them, have setback issues. Our neighbor to the south, to the north of us, if you look, is 1 foot off the property line. The next one is probably on the property line, and the next one to the north is probably 4 feet off the property line. So there's several setback issues there. And if you look at all 5 contiguous city parcels, 2 down, 2 in the south, 1 to the west, 2 to the west, and 1 to the north, southwest, all those properties have some similar setback issues. And I'm not pointing this out to say, you know, we should have it because of that. I'm just saying, just because on paper it appears to be non-conforming, in reality, when they build 10 feet off, they're going to fit right in. It's going to looks just like the rest of the neighborhood. Mm-hmm. And we're excited about it, as a matter of fact, because those old buildings had a lot of cats in them. Oh. A lot of cats. So, if there's any questions. And we did the survey and the engineering for the properties around us, but for the record, this is our first flag lot for the city, in the city in 38 years. Our first flag lot. So I hope it's our last.
Thank you. Does the board have any questions for
Quick
Mr. Haas?
question.
Hey, Bud, how are you?
Fine, sir. I
Good.
hope you're doing well. I drove in today and I looked at the fence that parallels your property line.
Yes, sir.
And there's not a lot of space. You don't have a problem with the space as far as having the fence being maintained, both the occupants'
Just to
fence
let you
as
know,
your fence.
in order for this to work, we had to give them a sewer easement because the sewer line is in the middle of Greenville. So we're happy to help them in any way we can.
Okay,
Any other questions from the board?
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any others to speak to the variance request? Yes, sir.
Good afternoon. My name is J.D. Cooper. I live at 1064 Berkshire Lane in Aiken County. And I represent JDC Construction Management as well as Ray and Dana Massey this evening. The home was designed by Jeffrey Burden, architect, to fit on this lot based on the information that we thought was correct. That's the 10-foot variance request we're in front of you requesting this evening. So we were hoping that the board would consider the fact that the flag lot cannot be used. It's strictly for ingress and egress to the residents. And you would just consider it's about 97 feet on the west line, that the 20% would be considered the setback, which would be about 18 feet instead of the 46 feet if you took the entire flagpole. So the variance percentage considered there, the difference is a lot smaller if you consider it in just the envelope of the building area right there. Of course, this lot could have been used for multifamily, but it's going to be a nice single-family brick residence. and definitely an addition to the neighborhood. That's about all I have, plus my answers that I submitted for the variance.
Thank you.
Any questions?
Questions? John?
You're the applicant?
No, well, I am the applicant, but I represent the owners.
Okay,
Yes.
but you are from JDC Construction?
That's correct, yeah. Yes, sir, it's my company.
Okay.
Any further questions from the board?
Just a quick
Ed.
question, Mr. Cooper, on the fence itself, the height of the fence is, what, 10 feet, 8 feet,
No, that fence is 6 feet in height.
6 feet?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't measure it, so, okay.
Yeah.
And then, but it was, you put it up, I guess, before the fact. Is that right? I mean, the
Correct, yes.
And then the
I think
city kind of said, wait a minute, you know, you gotta,
the owners, the Masseys had that done before I was involved,
okay.
yeah. So Dana's here, she could probably answer questions to that.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
John?
You answered on for criteria 4, the conditions are not the result of the applicant's own actions, your actions, I guess that's what that means. You said, no, the shape, dimensions, and configuration of the property existed prior to the application and were not created by the applicant. That's confusing because the Masseys bought up that property to create that shape. And you're answering that in the negative. I'm kind of confused how I should consider that.
Well, you're concerned that I, as the applicant, have taken no action that created or contributed to the hardship. Is that your?
So you're saying
Yeah.
that you are not responsible for that, but the Masseys are. I'm just trying to figure out how I should reconcile that difference when considering the application.
I'm not sure how to answer that.
Absolutely.
I was the liaison between Ms. Towns and the grantor with it. And this was, we had to fight to get 35 feet. This is all she would sell. That was it. So that was the creation of the flag, has nothing to do with, whatever the planning said we had to have, that's what we went with. Does that
Okay,
make
but
sense?
it is yours and the Massey's actions that created this situation. Because they bought it, therefore they put it into existence. And the applicant says, no, he has no responsibility for the
Well, he
project.
doesn't. He doesn't.
Okay,
But
okay,
what was allowed from Ms. Townsend, that was it.
okay,
And again,
but, okay.
And that may be a point of
I'd
discussion.
go back, if there's anybody to blame, it's me. Because I've done thousands of lots in the county, and I thought the building envelope would have been 60 by 90. That's,
I think we're considering two different things. We have to consider the criteria, each of the 6 criteria.
I understand that.
And I find there's a confusion here with criteria 4, with the statement of the applicant and what really transpired. It's not how much Ms. Townsend sold you or not. It's just, I'm just trying to get a clarification so that I can better weigh the criterias against the application.
You're saying that it is a result of their actions. You're saying it is a result
I'm,
of their actions because they created this.
Yes. But the applicant is saying no.
I understand.
I think that's
And so it's kind of confusing.
understood. I think that's a point that we can discuss once we have a motion for the variance to clarify the language in regards to number 4 specifically. So I don't think that's something that the applicant can necessarily expand on as they've answered the question at this point.
Sure.
Are there any other questions from the board?
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do we have any others to speak to the variance request?
Hi, I'm Dana Massey. I own the property that's in discussion. I also own or am a partner in the new construction that's between Hassan Hildebrand and the farmer's property. We were very excited when we bought the house or the property on Greenville and were able to construct that property, and noticed when we were there that there was a lot of rundown buildings around it and kind of overgrown property, and was out talking one day to the neighbor, Ms. Townsend, and she was like, I don't really have anything to do with any of this land. And I said, well, you know, I'd love to build a retirement home there, a little cottage. And so she and I kind of met for coffee several times, and that's kind of how it came about. She was excited about it. We designed the fence together, we picked it together, we ran it by all the neighbors. Everybody was super excited when we cleared out the overgrown area. And we needed, you know, the proper amount to get a driveway, and it needed to be a certain width to meet the regulations that the city had told us that we needed to do. So we thought we had met all the requirements when we proceeded to build the fence and work with the neighbors on the fence. And then when we applied for our building permit, they said that we were not in compliance with the ordinance due to the property being, I guess, the pole or the flag from the front. So we were kind of surprised and then happy to, you know, work with whoever to try and make it right. But the intent was always to just have a driveway and a small cottage in a Charleston-like setting that we were going to build that was going to be very in keeping with the neighborhood. We're going to use, you know, old materials. Hopefully it's going to look like it's always been there. So that was our intent when doing the property. So
Dana, was the trigger the building permit with the city that?
it was. So we've already obviously have plans and designs, and we have emails from the city just saying it had to be less than 3,500 square feet and 10 feet around. And so we just never really thought there was going to be a problem until we got to the building permit and submitted it. And then they said, oh, you would have to take the measurements from the lot from the very front. And obviously the structure cannot be built if you take it from the very front, because the setback you can't build on the narrow part that's going to be a tree-lined driveway. It's ultimately what it's going to be.
And was the fence also a point of discussion as far as the height? Because that's come up a couple of times.
So we checked with the city on that, and the fence is a 6-foot fence, which is what they said was fine. And the neighbors we all had a big discussion about color and design and all of that when we constructed the fence.
Okay.
So.
Thank you for that clarification.
And I know you had asked earlier about one of the letters, not when you counted around. The property, the furthest to the left, on that side, that owner is in Prague and has been for the last month. Her son resides there, but I have spoken with her on the phone, and she was, you know, all in compliance with what we're doing and has been from the get-go, but she was just out of the country and couldn't submit a letter.
Thank you. Are there any questions from the board?
Yeah, just one. Let's forget the flagpole, so to speak.
Okay.
But to one of the original speaker's points, the traditional building envelope there at 20%, a 10% setback, you were always going to be inside.
Yes, I know.
So that never came into your reasoning or function?
It did not, because the original emails we had from the city were that we just needed to have a 10-foot setback all the way around and build less than 3,500 square feet.
And that came from the city?
It did. It came from Matt Plunkett, I think. Yeah. Yeah. In the original, when Todd was doing the survey and designing all of it.
Okay.
Any other questions from the board? Thank you. Is there anything else you'd like to contribute?
I don't think so. If y'all have any questions, I'll answer them.
Thank you. Do we have others to speak to the variance request? Seeing and hearing none, the board may entertain a motion so we can enter a period of discussion.
Madam Chairman, I'd like to make a motion. I'd like to make the motion that the board approve variance 27-93001 to the zoning ordinance section 4.2.1 to permit approximately 10-foot rear yard setback on property zone residential multifamily low density and generally located at 514 Hayne Avenue Southwest, tax parcel number 105-27-04-005. The approval will also have the final order run with the land, and the final order shall be recorded at the Aiken County ROD office.
Thank you, Bud. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, John. We have a second. It's been properly moved and seconded that we approve the variance request. Do we have any discussion? John, I don't know if you want to revisit your point in regards to number 4.
You know, that's 4 states something contrary to what actually is. And I find that a little disconcerting.
The only point I would say to that is that if the applicant had parceled out the flag lot themselves, I could make an argument that they did create the situation. I don't know if purchasing necessarily creates.
But they did have it surveyed. They bought the land and then they had it
They did, yes. But I think my interpretation of the ordinance interpretation is that the portion of the driveway or the flag, not many people would know that that was factored, and Max, please correct me if I'm wrong on this. That is what's being taken into consideration as far as the size of the parcel, and that's what's dictating the constraint.
Yeah, yeah, the zoning ordinance does not differentiate between lot widths. It's only the depth
Correct.
of the lot that's taken into account.
So with the scarcity of flag lots and that's not a standard, I would say, I think it's not an ignorance is bliss situation. I don't think it was necessarily like aware that that was a factor. I would see a lot of people being tripped up on that, not knowing that that driveway would essentially be factored into that. I think that's my interpretation of the no. But
Well, yeah, I follow that logic clearly. I guess to the point I was making with Mrs. Massey, at the 92-foot, what you would have assumed to be the building envelope, you're still looking at about an 18 or 19-foot setback. And I probably should have asked the applicant, but I did. I didn't see if there was any plan that was ever worked or looked at that could have I'm willing to give the flagpole variance. I think that's reasonable. That you shouldn't be counting the long, narrow pole part of the lot. I just don't know if there was, in terms of the variance, I'm willing to consider whether something with more of an 18-foot setback within that envelope was even looked at or would be workable. That's kind of my sticking point right now, and just granting a blank 10-foot. As I said, I'm willing to. I think waiving the total lot depth is a reasonable assumption here.
So is that, if I'm interpreting your point correctly, you're saying a smaller building footprint to solve the
Yeah,
issue?
slightly smaller, or maybe, yeah, I don't know where the front part of that thing is as it approaches the neck or the pole. How much more space you have there to maybe move the existing footprint up a little bit, or take a foot or two across 5 or 6 of the rooms or something, and maybe you can get to it that way. But that's sort of where I'm at.
Understood. Thank you. Are there any other points of discussion from the board before we take a vote? Seeing none, please show by raising your right hand in favor of the stated motion. Those opposed?
I'm sorry.
Sorry, were you in favor or opposed?
Oh, opposed.
So we have 4 in favor and 2 opposed, and the motion is carried. Moving on to application 2793002. I call your attention to this application. This is a variance request from Gordon Foreman to permit a 30-foot by 50-foot detached accessory structure on property located at 1164 Arbus Hills Drive Northwest, zoned residential single family, RS-15, TPN 104-12-10-024. To the city, has this been properly posted?
Yes, Madam Chair, it has.
Were there any inquiries that you wish to share with the board?
The planning department did receive several inquiries regarding the request, but no formal comments were submitted.
Thank you. Please proceed with your presentation.
The subject property, 1164 Arbutus Hills Drive Northwest, is approximately 43 acres in area, zone residential single family RS-15. The property is currently occupied by a 1.5-story detached single family dwelling built around 1935, totaling approximately 2,544 square feet in area, as well as a detached accessory dwelling unit totaling approximately 834 square feet in area, and 2 other detached structures, as well as a pool. The applicant is proposing building a 30 by 50 detached maintenance garage on the lot, in addition to the existing accessory structures, for the maintenance of the property based on its excessive size. Pursuant to section 3.4.2.e of the zoning ordinance, all accessory buildings on lots zoned RS-15 may not exceed 50% of the heated gross floor area of the principal dwelling. Based on the size of the primary residence on the property, compliance with the zoning ordinance would require all accessory structures not exceed 1,272 square feet in area. According to county records, the total square footage of all accessory structures on the lot is currently approximately 2,400 square feet in total area, thus requiring a variance. The size of the home limits the allowable square footage of all detached accessory structures based on the property's zoning designation. The zoning ordinance does not account for lot size when determining the limit of cumulative accessory square footage. The applicant would have to increase the heated square footage of the primary structure on the lot by approximately 5,360 square feet in order to permit the additional accessory structure of the proposed size by right, or remove all other existing accessory structures and increase the primary structure by 456 square feet. Information provided by the applicant about the request is contained in Exhibit A of your agenda packet. This is a site plan submitted by the applicant. The property is quite unique. It is, as I mentioned, 43 acres in area. It actually fronts, and I'll go back real quick, Arbutus Hills Drive Northwest, but a portion of it is actually across the street as well, so it's that's not common. Typically they do not cross over. One parcel does not cross over roadways. In any case, the primary structure and basically all of the additional accessory structures are on the northern larger tract, set back quite a ways from the Arbutus Hills Drive. You can't actually, I mean, I was out there taking pictures and could barely see anything, so it's pretty far back there. The proposed shop is going to be here, basically the west, on the eastern side property line. I believe this is the accessory dwelling unit here. I don't know if this shows all of the accessory structures, but in any case, yeah, the proposed location is going to be set back even farther than the home itself, on that eastern property line, basically kind of in here, back in here. So this is undeveloped. This is currently undeveloped as well, and as well as this property. I believe this is a cemetery here. So yeah, it's basically kind of tucked away back on that portion of the property. As depicted on the attached zoning map found in Exhibit B, some variation exists regarding the development in the immediate area. However, apart from the adjoining undeveloped properties to the north and east, as we mentioned, these three here, most lots in the area generally consist of 1960s era single-family homes between 1,000 and 2,000 square feet in area on lots deeper than they are wide. County records do indicate that several properties in the vicinity have detached accessory structures of varying sizes. Again, as I mentioned, lots to north and east are larger than surrounding lots to the south and west. Most other surrounding developed residential lots are no larger than approximately half acre in area. So these are sort of to the south, the more traditional neighborhood development, as well as to the west here, where you have smaller lots, and kind of more traditional single-family homes. But again, they do border the property, but sort of on a technicality, because it does, go across that roadway. So there's a vegetative buffer here as well, that is currently undisturbed. Exhibit D in your agenda packet contains photographs of the property taken by staff depicting the existing conditions of the property. This is just our notice sign here. As I mentioned, because of the size of the property, there's not going to get a whole lot of information from these photographs. But anyway, that's just the entryway. There's a neat little monument there with the name of the property. But as you can see, it's pretty large. I believe you can kind of make out something, maybe on this picture, but I'm not sure. But yeah, in any case, there's quite a bit of distance between the actual roadway and the structures themselves. I believe measuring it on GIS, it's about 600 feet. But just gives you kind of an idea of the size of the property. And as previously mentioned, the applicant is requesting the size of the garage for all of the maintenance equipment necessary for the size of the property. Again, that's sort of looking west. You can see there's a sort of pond down here as well. The planning staff's evaluation of the request, as well as the applicant's response to the required 6 variance criteria, can be found starting at page 1 of your agenda packet. This concludes staff's presentation. Be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Max. I had a question. It looks like the property was purchased in April of this year. Did that purchase trigger annexation into the city? Or was it previously in the city?
Yeah, it's been in the city for some time. I couldn't find the exact record. But yeah, I looked back at some of our older zoning maps, and it's been in for a while, at least since 2000, as far as I could tell.
And back that far, we were still under the ordinance requirement of the and/or with city water and sewer. Is that what would have triggered that, or would the?
Not necessarily. In fact, probably back then it may have been more voluntary than not, rather than a condition of receiving a city utility. But yeah, I wasn't able to locate the exact record. But yeah, I'm not sure, when or the circumstances under which it was incorporated. This tract to the northeast is also incorporated. Potentially there may have been some, plans to do something with it or something like that. But yeah, it is inside city limits, and it appears it's been that way for some time.
Okay, thank you. That's helpful. Are there any questions for the city from the board? No.
I got, Max, the square footage, the floor area for the accessory buildings is, I'm sorry, I'm missing something here. The main residence, it appears to be 2,544 square feet. So taking half of that's 1,200.
Yes, sir. That would be the maximum cap based
Okay.
on the language of the zoning ordinance.
But the accessory dwelling unit is 834. That
Correct.
can't be included as part of the main
Correct.
dwelling unit.
Correct.
Is that right?
Yes, sir. Yep. Yeah, it's the language of the ordinance explicitly defines it as the primary structure on the lot. Not all dwelling, not all of the dwelling unit area. If that makes sense.
Okay, then there's, now, I spent a little bit of time out there today trying to figure out I figured out the primary residence. I saw the accessory dwelling unit, but then I also spotted another, what looked like maybe an old maintenance shed. It looked like maybe not a running shed, but something like that. And I assumed it was on the property, but near the property line. Is that figure included in this?
Yes, sir. Yeah, as long as it's, I mean, again, we typically have to rely on county records, because they're the one that do the property assessment.
Okay,
But yeah.
all right.
It appears as though the cumulative square footage currently is about 2,400 square feet of detached accessory structure. So it's about equal with the primary if you include all of the additional structures.
Okay, I was just trying to locate it on the plat here.
Yeah, unfortunately not all details are present on every plat.
Okay.
Any further questions from the board? The applicant or the representative may make their presentation. Please state your name and address.
My name's Gordon Foreman, 1164 Arbutus Hills Drive. Don't really have a presentation. I was just gonna see if you have any questions or if you just want some comments based on our needs. It's a large property, it's 44 acres, but I'm mowing between 20 and 25 acres. Beautiful land. You mentioned there's not a big history on it, but it was once the hunt club for the Highlands Hotel in downtown Aiken at one time. So we're gonna renovate this home, we're gonna make it our home, and I wanna do nothing but enhance the property, maintain it, and I don't know if you was out there today, but I got it looking pretty good from the land perspective.
Yeah,
It's beautiful.
beautiful piece. I noticed that a voice came over the recorder saying you're being watched.
Well, just in case,
I was spent a good bit of time, including with your workers out there. Okay.
We need this building. I've got tractors and lawn equipment and just to work on them. Right now I'm outside on the ground, keeping this stuff going, but it'll be nice to have a place to store our stuff.
How many outbuildings do you have on the property?
There's a pool house that's run down. There's a tobacco drying shed that's maybe 10 by 12 that's run down. And there's like a small animal horse shed that's maybe 10 by 12. But the ceiling heights are so low you can't store anything. You know, right now it's just storing all the bay of wood that's from the previous owners.
Would you consider removing any of those structures to affect your
Maybe in the
square?
future when we get time,
Right,
you know.
okay.
Right now, we're selling a house, we're renovating a house, we just got a lot going on.
Mr. Foreman, would you plan on building the structure yourself? Are you hiring a contractor?
I think I can do this myself with family. It's just a metal building, 2 by 2 aluminum tubing, you know, so that's what we're considering.
Okay.
I haven't purchased it yet.
And this might be more of a question to the city. Will that require submission based on the size of the building, considering it's a smaller
Yeah,
footprint?
Anything over 200 square feet would require a building permit, so,
Okay.
yeah, he would have to submit that ultimately,
Okay.
or a contractor.
Question back to maybe Max. The owner has indicated this is a parcel that was associated with the old Highland Park Hotel. Now, this is not any kind of overlay, historic overlay or anything like that.
No, it's
Correct.
not. No, it falls well outside that. I think there has been some discussion. Yeah, I'm not the historic preservation planner, but I think there has been some discussion with introducing some of that to portions of the north side of the city. But yeah, I don't know. There may be historic value, but it is not technically in an overlay district at this time.
Any other questions from the board?
Yeah, I was wondering, can you put this up on the screen? And then can you tell us what structures are what?
See this a little bit easier. That's the cottage.
And where's that on this, on the left?
It says dwelling right here.
That's the one to the south. This is a little bit, this is oriented north to south to north. So this structure here is that, and this proposed structure will be back
That's the house?
The main house,
main home here,
main home is right there.
pool house.
All right, just one more time, where's the main house? Okay. And then the pool house?
The pool would be between here, and then that's a little pool house attached to it, close to it.
All right, and what's this baseball looking thing?
It's the graveyard. That's the cemetery. You got the cemetery separate platted, right?
Yeah, the cemetery is this parcel to the southeast here,
Yeah.
or two parcels.
No, the main, the main cemetery is there.
There's a
Little-
graves on the property.
Oh, I see. My mistake.
Yeah, you got it.
I see.
It's on our plat, but it's, yeah, there it is.
Just noted in here,
Right, right.
It's right in the middle of his property.
Mm-hmm.
Do we know who's buried there? We do.
Any further questions from the board?
Yeah, I have one. Mr. Foreman, how did you arrive at 30 by 50 as to your need? Do you have a specific list of equipment, and have you sized this out, or
Well,
is
based
this
on
just
what
as
I
big as
know,
I want a big
yeah,
one, or
I'm
what?
presently in a 30-40, and I'm coming out of it, and I've already purchased a tractor. It's with 6 implements, side by side, that I'm using out on the property. I know I've got one 20-foot trailer, and I know I need another 15-foot trailer just to help pick up the limbs when they fall from these storms. It's unbelievable. You know, just the work. I gotta learn how to get more efficient out there.
Yeah, that's fine. I just wanted to be sure you had noodled through
Yeah.
a footage and that
Well,
you
if I
were.
could've went less, I would've went.
Yeah,
I would be
okay.
Going less just because of the
Okay.
cost and stuff right now, but like I said, I've already got a 30 by 40 shop full of tools,
Okay.
you know.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do we have any others to speak to the variance request? Yes, ma'am.
Hi, I'm Teresa Callahan, 622 Washington Circle. We have 4 of us actually, but 3 primarily that butts up to your new property. So it's Arbutus, and then you have Jasmine Ridge Road when you come up the woods, which is all wooded area, which is awesome. Beautiful property that they purchased. We've been in stitches since you got it because we were like, what are they gonna do? But what they're doing is beautiful. And we are ecstatic about it because we thought they were going to tear it down and put apartments or, we were not in the know. And with the garage being on their property, I think it's an awesome thing. And then to store their equipment, I think it's really beautiful. I hope you guys keep it that way. And I hope we be friendly. And so, like I said, we're a good bit from you. We used to play on that road all the time and ride our bicycles, et cetera, on that road where you guys are. So you don't have much, it's very minimal traffic back there. So y'all got it good. They really have it good compared to what we have. And so I'm really hating on them for where they are because it's so beautiful. But what they're doing what we're saying is really awesome. Just wanting to build a structure back there to put their stuff up. And I think it's really beautiful because it's going to stay quiet and nice back there. And that's what we were anxious about to understand because of what we're already going through on our end. So
Thank you.
that's all I wanted to say was kudos to them.
Thank you, Teresa. So you are in favor of the variance?
Yes, we are.
you.
Thank y'all so much.
Thank you.
Oh, the vegetative part of the road, Max, I think you understand where that is. The vegetative part of the road when you come from Arbutus in the
Yeah, this
dirt
portion
road where
here.
they are, and then you come up the hill for the where the woods are. Then you have another vegetative piece that butts up to
Yeah.
Jasmine Ridge, where it's cut off at a dead end. We were wanting to question where that's remain as a dead end, which would be beautiful if it is.
That's not part of this request there. Yeah.
So this request is speaking specifically to the allowance of the shed, the storage shed
Yes,
being
well,
built.
we're totally in favor. Thank y'all so much.
Thank you. Are there any others to speak to the variance request? Seeing and hearing none, the board may entertain a motion so we can enter a period of discussion.
Okay, I don't want to monopolize the conversation here, but I'll move to approve a variance to section 3.4.2.E of the zoning ordinance to permit a detached maintenance garage approximately 1,500 square feet in area on property zone residential single-family RS-15 and generally located at 1164 Arbutus Hills Drive, tax parcel number 104-12-10-10-024. Location and dimensions of the structures be consistent with submitted plans. Total area of all accessory buildings on the property not exceed 154% of the heated gross floor area of the principal building. All other applicable requirements of the City of Aiken zoning ordinance regarding accessory structures are met. Final order shall run with the land. The final order shall be recorded in the Aiken County ROD office.
Thank you, Bud. Do we have a second?
I second that.
John, thank you. It has been properly moved and seconded that we approve the variance request. Do we have any discussion?
I would just comment that if there's ever been a one-off property in a zoning, I think this would certainly fit that bill. So it didn't take a lot of pretzel making to get through the 6 criteria for variance acceptance. So
Agreed.
I don't have a problem with that at all.
I think that's an excellent point. John?
I was out there. It is a beautiful piece of property. I was surprised to find it, and I have no problems with it, given the size. I know the size shouldn't be considered, but I can overlook that, and given his need for the space for equipment, and you won't see it anywhere from any property line, I would support this.
Agreed. Yeah, it's incredible. It was like going into a different world driving down that dirt road, and I'm excited for you personally. I owned 12 acres, and I know that I needed a storage shed for the bush hog and the tractor that I had. So I do not envy you, but appreciate what you're trying to do. Any other comments from the board?
I'll just commend you on the looks of the property, easy to walk around. I found the graveyard cemetery interesting, and love to hear more about the history of the property. But you'll, so far, so good, and we commend you. Thank you.
I have a question for that. Why is your pond blue?
You know, it's not a pond, it's storm drain.
Oh, okay.
So I put some color in there to see if it would make it blue, and it kind of turned into a turquoise.
Okay, well, yeah. All right, I was just curious.
All safe stuff.
Kind of startled me when I drove through the gate there. Thank you.
Just better in dirty water.
Those in favor of the variance request, please show by raising their right hand. The decision is unanimous, and the variance is approved.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Moving on to application 27-93003. This is a variance request from Kimberly Pizer. Apologies if I've mispronounced that. You can correct me. To permit an accessory apartment on property located at 181 Dogwood Road Southeast, zoned residential single family, RS15, TPN number 122-05-02-004. To the city, has this been properly posted?
Yes, Madam Chair, it has.
Were there any inquiries that you wish to share with the board?
The planning department did receive one inquiry in person, but no written comments regarding the request were submitted.
Thank you. Please proceed with your presentation.
The subject property, 181 Dogwood Road Southeast, is approximately 0.34 acres in area and zoned residential single-family RS15. The property is currently occupied by a single-story detached single-family dwelling built around 1956, totaling approximately 1,152 square feet in area, as well as a detached accessory structure totaling approximately 840 square feet in area. The applicant is proposing converting 633 square feet of the detached garage currently on the lot for an accessory dwelling unit for personal use. Pursuant to section 3.4.1.a.3 of the zoning ordinance, the minimum floor area of an accessory apartment shall be at least 450 square feet. The floor area of an apartment in an accessory building may not exceed 35% of the gross heated floor area of the principal dwelling. Based on the size of the primary residence on the property, compliance with the zoning ordinance would limit the size of an accessory apartment on the lot to 403 square feet, which would not meet the required minimum square footage of 450 square feet for a dwelling unit, thus requiring a variance. The size of the home limits the allowable square footage of all detached accessory structures, including accessory apartments, based on the property's zoning designation. The applicant would have to increase the heated square footage of the primary structure by approximately 743 square feet in order to permit an accessory apartment of the proposed size by right. Information provided by the applicant about the request is contained in Exhibit A of your agenda packet. This is a site plan or sketch plan of the existing garage that the applicant submitted. So they're proposing utilizing approximately 633 square feet of the existing 800 plus square feet for an accessory apartment. As you can see, it's a little washed out due to the copying. But you have a kitchen, bath, and living room area totaling approximately 464 square feet, and then a 13 by 13 bedroom here on the, I guess that would be the sort of southeast side of the garage there. But this is the total footprint of the existing garage. This will be retained for, or rather not for, dwelling purposes, and this portion will be converted as part of the proposal. As depicted on the attached zoning map found in Exhibit B, some variation exists regarding the development area. However, apart from the parcels located at the south end of the block, most lots along Dogwood Road Southeast are rectangular in shape and uniformly configured. The property adjoining the subject property directly to the west, this one here, let's see here, is a large apartment complex that was developed circa 1990. Most lots in the area, however, generally consist of 1950s era single-family homes between 1,300 and 1,800 square feet in area on lots deeper than they are wide. This is one of the few homes, if not one of the only homes, that is sub 2,000 square feet in area along Dogwood Road. Most are, again, between 1,300 and 1,800 square feet. County records indicate that several properties in the vicinity have detached accessory structures of varying sizes, including accessory apartments, although they appear to predate the current zoning ordinance and are considered legal nonconforming given the age of the neighborhood. It's a little hard to see here, but there is another dwelling unit on this lot, so there's two dwelling units. You can tell by the little dots on there, which are separate address points issued by the county. There's another one over here that has an accessory dwelling unit, so there's a few in the area. Let's see here. Exhibit D in your agenda packet contains photographs of the property taken by staff depicting the existing conditions of the property. And that's just a photo of our notice there. This is the home itself in question. You can see it also has a carport or covered parking there, but that is not considered in terms of the heated square footage of the structure. That's the pre-existing garage in the back. Presumably it will be sort of this portion here and then going back. That will be converted, while they'll retain some additional storage there, or additional space for non-dwelling purposes. But again, pre-existing structure in the back there. This is just a picture of the other side of the property. There are no other structures on the lot that would basically allow for the dwelling unit in question. But yeah, not pretty basic standard single family residential lot. The planning staff's evaluation of the request, as well as the applicant's response to the required 6 variance criteria, can be found starting at page 1 of your agenda packet. This concludes staff's presentation. If there are any questions, please let me know.
Thank you, Max. I'm going to take an opportunity to look a little bit vapid, but I have to admit I was a little confused in the wording of the request, that it was essentially the garage is being renovated, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
That's my understanding for the proposal.
For some reason, I was trying to figure out how this was going to come to fruition, but just for my own edification. So it is essentially a garage renovation that is being requested and slightly because of the footprint of the house, that's the issue as far as the percentage of what's allowed, but the minimum, it has to be bigger than 450, but the variance is for 203 square feet more than what's allowed based on the percentage of the house?
Yeah, so the 450 square foot requirement comes more from a building code standard. It is in the zoning ordinance, but that's the definition of a dwelling unit. The city will not issue a building permit for anything less than 450 for somebody to live in. By right, their maximum cap at 35% is 403 square feet. So let's just say that structure wasn't there and they wanted to build an accessory dwelling unit. The max they could go would be 403 based on the 35% cap, but that would not meet building code requirements. It would not be considered a dwelling unit.
Okay.
So they theoretically could convert half or whatever of that structure into, I mean, they could just stop at 450 theoretically, but it's my understanding the applicant wants a little bit larger than 450 just based on current standard of living, necessary space for, a dwelling unit. And since it's a pre-existing structure, they're interested in utilizing about 630 square feet of the existing structure for that purpose.
If, devil's advocate here, if they were to build an addition on the existing home, is there a restriction in that regard with the there wouldn't be any, it wouldn't be here, essentially. Is that?
Well, it's still restricted
To 35%.
35%. Yeah.
But
that's
the bigger they make the residence, the more that 35% would be.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, it's
Still has to hit the 450 minimum.
Right.
it's a constant ratio relative to the primary structure. But the distinction is often, again, it's getting its own address point, it's getting its own meter, it's getting its own water service.
Okay.
So that's what distinguishes it than just adding a bedroom onto a house that somebody else may be living in.
Correct.
It's a separate dwelling unit. It has its own kitchen, it has its own
Yeah.
bathroom.
Okay. Thank you for that clarification. Are there any other questions from the board to the city? Hearing none, do we have the applicant or a representative to speak to the variance request?
I am the applicant, Kimberly Pizer. Nervous as all get out. I don't have anything to say other than I'm hoping to be approved so that my sister can come stay with her own place there.
Would you like to take questions from the board?
Should she read
Oh,
her,
I should say Kimberly Pizer.
your
180
address and read yourself into the minutes?
Sorry. My name is Kimberly Pizer, 181 Dogwood Road, Aiken, South Carolina.
Thank you. So you currently are living at the application address? Okay. Are there any questions from the board to the applicant?
Yeah, I have one. Max, can you pull up her sketch, the accessory dwelling plan? Yeah, beautiful. So you said you can live with 464 square feet. How would you turn that? How would you reduce that to the 464?
By just going from the 16 by 29 across the whole back, that would be 464 square feet.
Okay. So, all right. So you just would X out the bed. Okay. I don't know if you would try to divide it up somehow differently and
No.
still work a bedroom in somehow, or
I was trying to do it because I knew I needed to be close to 450 because
Yeah.
of the ordinance, and I wasn't trying to be greedy. I just wanted to, if I have to do it that way, then I have to do it that way. If I'm allowed to have the bedroom, that would be great. The other part, I utilize that as just a storage area.
Any other questions from the board? Nancy?
Question, the person that's moving behind you, are they going to be driving a vehicle?
Yes, and so my sister can park right next to the carport, so it's off the street. If you look at the house, but there's plenty of room there, and I'm going to put I'm gonna put you can see the gate sitting there if it's approved. The gate in the back there, I'm gonna put a gate there, with a walkway, and then I'll have, I left hedges, so she has privacy.
So you park underneath the,
I park in the carport
and where would she park?
right next to the carport. The driveway is pretty big. More than enough room there.
And I believe you said in your application that you do have on-street parking as well?
I would not,
You don't do, okay,
I would not
okay.
And not that this has anything to do with the application, but where are you thinking about putting hedges?
Oh. Between where the gate starts straight back to this door, I want the door for her place to be open here. So to have privacy.
So it looks like at this stage you have what I would call a napkin sketch.
Yes, that's what it is, yeah.
Have you consulted with a contractor at this point and started the process, or were you looking for the approval before you dove in?
Yep,
Okay.
because I would like to then call for the water, to have water be brought in there, and the sewer is connected because of the little area there that I have a sink. I put a sink in the little area there so I could wash out paintbrushes and whatnot. So I had my sewer line connected with the pump and whatnot by a pump.
So you have utilities to that building?
Only for, yeah, very basic, so it will need its own utilities. So I'll have to get in touch with Dominion and have them do that.
Are there any other questions from the board?
Well, I should say, in my home, there is a separate breaker a separate, I think it's, I don't know how many volts it is, to the garage, but it wouldn't be enough to do, it would be strained.
Okay, thank you. There's no more questions from the board. Thank you so much. Oh, you do, John? Sorry.
Your neighbor's input, have you had any, or?
My one neighbor is here, Charlotte, she's on the other side, and then I had asked Crystal, did she send an email? The neighbor that actually butts up to it, she's in favor of it as well, Crystal.
Yeah, I didn't, unfortunately.
Oh, she didn't get to do it? Okay, I did ask her. But Charlotte came.
Yeah, if there's anybody else to speak to the variance, please read yourself into the minutes.
Hi, I'm Charlotte Fussell. I'm at 183 Dogwood, and I'm in support of the variance, or your application, I guess. Yeah. I'm pretty excited, I guess. Like, Kimberly takes really good care of her yard. She's got, pretty good plans for everything, and we like her sister, and we're excited if she can come live on our street and everything. So.
Thank you. Are there any questions from the board to Charlotte? No?
No, I'm fine.
Thank you. If you have anything else to add, feel free. Otherwise, we'll
I don't.
move ahead. Thank you. You did great. Not seeing and hearing any further any others to speak to the variance, the board may entertain a motion so we can enter a period of discussion. But if you want to go for a hat trick, you can.
2 out of 3, I'm good. Thank you.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve application 27-93-003, which is a variance to section 341, hope I'm getting these numbers right, point A3, to permit a detached accessory apartment, approximately 633 square feet in the area on the property zone residential single family and located at 181 Dogwood Road. TPN 122-05-02-004. The structure will be consistent with the submitted plan. The total area of this apartment will not exceed the 55% of the heated gross area of the principal building. All other requirements of the city regarding this structure shall be met. Final order shall run with the land, and it shall be recorded in the Aiken County ROD office.
Thank you, Nancy. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you, John. It's been properly moved and seconded that we approve the variance request. Do we have any further discussion? Hearing none, I'd like to take a vote for the approval of the variance. Those in favor, please show by raising their right hand. It is unanimous. The variance is approved. That is the last item on the agenda. If there's no other items for discussion, the chair shall entertain a motion for adjournment.
So move.
Second.
Thank you. We are unanimous, I would assume. We are adjourned.